Okay, we're continuing the shir in Likutay to our base, Likutay Tanyana. And when a person is zocha to the bechina of toda halacha, which we said is the union of all the blood flowing properly in the person's body, this comes out through learning of halacha. Through this, the light of truth is revealed, and it also shines into speech. We're going to explain this idea, what this means. Because at first, when the blood all goes to the heart, as we said before, that when a person's in a tzara, in a difficulty, so all the blood from all the body rushes into the heart. So the heart pumps very big, very deep pumps in order to remove this pressure from itself. But we said this is what happens when a person's in tzara. And when a person comes out of the tzara, the blood goes back into its proper place, and that's the pathways of the blood is called halacha, is termed to as halacha, which also means pathways. So now, when a person, in the beginning, when all the blood goes to the heart, that's a bechina of pegam ha'emes. It's a bechina of a problem with truth. So we know there are many places that the leiv refers to midah of tiferes, which is the union of emes, union of truth, which is like Yaakov Avinu. There's Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Avram was chesed, Yitzchak was gvura, and Yaakov was tiferes. Tiferes represents emes. So like titan emes liYaakov, we have a pasuk that shows the connection between Yaakov and emes. So here we see that a problem with the heart means a problem with truth. When there's a problem with the person with the heart, when all the blood goes to the heart, it's a sign that there's a problem. Or here it is saying it's a bechina of a problem in truth, a problem in emes. Bechinas anshe domim yisnu tam, and the Rebbe brings a pasuk for this. It says anshe dom, people of blood, they hate tam. They hate a simple person. Now, this, based on what we said before, that the heart is a bechina of Yaakov Avinu, which is emes. So we also see the connection here. We could explain this pasuk. It says anshe damim yisnu tam, people that have blood, or when all the blood goes to the heart. So there's a problem with the tam. Tam is tiferes, is Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov ish tam, it says about him. So that's a proof the Rebbe brought for the truth being damaged when a person's in tsar, when all the blood goes into the heart. So afterwards, when a person comes out of the tsar, it's a bechin of toda halacha. All the blood goes in the proper place. Then the truth can shine. The bechin is titan emes liYaakov chesed laAvram, as it says. Give truth to Yaakov and chesed to Avram. So chesed laAvram, hainu halachos. Chesed laAvram, we said before, we mentioned the union of chesed being the hashpasa chesed comes out from the birth. It gives birth to hashpasa chesed. We said the whole process of birthing is when the legs get cold and all the blood goes up closer to the heart. Goes out from the legs, and then it pushes the baby out, so to speak. And the baby, in this particular term, in this particular sense, in this metaphor, is chesed. So titan emes liYaakov chesed laAvram. Chesed laAvram is hainu halachos. Eidiza meir haemes umashlim hadibur. Through this, the truth shines, and speech gets perfected. Now, how does speech get perfected? Through the truth shining, through the truth being strengthened, which is again happens when this birth takes place, which is the birth of new halachas by lomdei Talmidei Chachamim. The reason why speech gets strengthened, speech gets perfected when the truth comes out, is the main perfection of speech is from truth. Is because of truth. Now, truth stands, the Gemara says, Gemara Shabbos, and falsehood, lies, can't stand at all, except for when they have some truth mixed into it. As Rashi says on the pasuk Zedva, Rashi al pasuk Gam Zavas Dva Chal V'Dvash v'chulu. As Rashi explained in the pasuk that when the Meraglim came and they spoke about Eretz Yisrael, so they mixed up some truth in with their words and with their lies, and it's through the truth that they convinced Klal Yisrael that everything what they were saying was true. So speech can never be accepted and can never have any establishment at all without truth. Whether it's speech of truth, which is certainly needs truth, otherwise not speech of truth, or speech of lies, where speech of lies also, if it's total lies, it has no foundation whatsoever, has no real establishment, has no real existence, has no real effect. So this all happens because of the revelation or strengthening of truth. When truth gets strengthened, so speech gets perfected. Because again, speech is only important or only interesting or only effective when there is truth. When there's no truth, speech loses all of its power. It comes out that since all types of speech, even falsehood, needs truth to stand, needs truth to have some type of establishment and existence. So through truth, the revelation of truth, Shleimus Hadibur, the perfection of speech, comes out. Now, this truth shines into the dibur, into speech, through these three shemus, through three names of Hashem. B'chinas Kel Elokim Hashem Dibur. As referred to in the pasuk, it says Kel Elokim Hashem Havaya Dibur, spoke. So these three shemus are shining into speech. These three shemus, Kel refers to Chesed in general, Elokim in general refers to Din, and Havaya refers to Rachman, or a combination of the two or a synthesis of the two of Chesed and Din. And Diber was obviously referring to speech. So this is like the order of the light. The light goes from Kelukim Hashem, from the names of Hashem, into Dibur. Because these three names are the source of all truth. Probably he's referring to all the truth in this world is through these three shemus. And it's specifically through these three names. These are three major. Some of the three major names that of Hashem, the revelations of godliness that these names represent. And it's only the revelation of godliness and of kedusha in this world that is truth, and everything else is sheker. So these are the three main inyanim: the inyan of chesed of Hashem, and gvura and din, justice of Hashem, and the rachamim of Hashem that are meir in speech and give the speech kiyum. Hemakramis, and the Rebbe is saying specifically these three names, the actual names themselves, not just like what I'm saying, the midas, but the names themselves are actually meir into speech. They shine into speech to strengthen the speech. And through them, through these three names of Hashem, the truth shines in and lights up inside shines into the dibur. And in what aspects of the dibur? The Rebbe says it shines into the speech, which is the four aspects of speech, because there are four divisions or four aspects of speech, as we're going to explain at length these four aspects. Also, we're going to explain the union of these three shemus a little bit more later on. So, the truth, so to speak, is divided into three aspects, or three sources. The source of truth of Kel, Kim, and Hashem. And the speech, we're going to see, is divided into four different aspects, four different types of speech. The four types of speech. Kiyesh ribua hadibur, v'ken kishahayu Yisrael b'galus. Haya dibur b'galus. because there are four types of speech, and when Klal Yisrael was in Golus, the speech was in Golus. Now, speech represents relates to the lowest sphere, the sphere of Malchus, and as we said before, the Kel, Elokim, and Hashem refer to Chesed. I don't know if we said this, but Kel, Elokim, and Hashem refer to Chesed, Gvura, and Tiferes. Now, this speech, which relates to Malchus, is in Golus when the Shekhinah is in Golus. So since Klal Yisrael is in Golus, when we were in Golus in Mitzrayim, and even still today when we are in Golus, so the speech is also in Golus. We represent the Shekhinah of Hashem, the resting of Hashem inside this world. The revelation of Hashem is represented by the Jews. So where the Jews are holding, whether when they're in Golus, so the Shekhinah is also Kivyochel in Golus with us. And when we were in Golus in Mitzrayim, also the Shekhinah, which relates to the speech, was also in Golus. We see also by the Shekhinah, by speech, that we say Hashem Sfasai Tiftach. We use the term Hashem, Aleph, Dalet, Nun, and then Yud, and we ask for Hashem to open up our mouth. Hashem Sfasai Tiftach, Ufir Gid Tila Safa. That this is referring. We call out, so to speak, to the name of Hashem that represents His Malchus, represents His kingship, represents the Shekhinah, which is Aleph, Dalet, Nun, and Yud. And through that name, we relate to speech. So we see that speech and Malchus and the Shekhinah are connected. So therefore, when Klal Yisrael is in Golus and the Shekhinah is in Golus, so too the speech is also in Golus and is far away from Pashtus, far away from these three Bechinas, Kel, Elokim, and Hashem. So, Nemar b'Moshe lo ish dvarim, when the Shekhinah was in Golus, so the pasuk says about Moshe Rabbeinu that lo ish dvarim anochi gam etmol gam shloshom gam me'az dabercha v'chul. Then Moshe Rabbeinu argued to Hashem and said, "I am not a person that can speak. Not yesterday, lo ish dvarim anochi. I'm not a person that can speak. Also yesterday, and also 2 days ago, gam mishloshom, also from 2 days ago, and also from back then." Me'az dabercha, maybe from the time you started speaking to me. I'm not sure what those words exactly mean. And this is referring, Moshe Rabbeinu there was referring to the four types of speech. And he was saying that all these four types of speech are in Golus. Now the Rebbe is going to divide and show us what the four types of speech are. There's a dibur of tzedakah, speech of charity or kindness, chesed, midaber b'tzedakah. We have a pasuk that speaks about the type of speech that is a type of speech of tzedakah. Pasuk says speaking in tzedakah, midaber b'tzedakah. Shezeh b'chinas hayitarn sheyesh l'adam alachai. Now this union of tzedakah is the fundamental aspect that a human being has over an animal. Shehu adibur, which is the dibur. Shu geder adam v'hu b'chinas tzedakah. Now we know that the real difference between man and animal is that man can speak and animal can't. So that is directly b'china. That is directly relates to the b'china of chesed, b'china of tzedakah. Shu goma chesed im abrius. That the shezeh geder adam shedak ligmo chesed mashen ken b'chai. Now another definition of man over animal is that man does actual kindness. Man does actual kindness. There are also some birds, and we know the Hasidah also does kindness, but I think that the difference there would be, so here how could it say that the definition of man is that man does kindness and that animals don't. We know there's one of the treifa birds that's mentioned in the Parsha is the Hasidah, and the Hasidah is called a Hasidah because the bird feeds its neighbors, gives chesed, gives food to its friends or something like that. I think that they say there that it's still a treifa bird because it doesn't really give. It doesn't really give because of kindness. It gives because that's its nature. So here too also you could say that the nature of man is to give, even when it's not just his nature. The nature of man is also to give, to overcome his own nature of cruelty, and to actually come to be kind, to give to people which he wouldn't naturally be kind to. And that you don't find in animals at all. So it could be that this is what he's referring to. Like by speech, we see that there are no animals that speak whatsoever, not even one of them. Even the parrot doesn't really speak; it just imitates the sounds. It doesn't really know what it's saying. It doesn't have intelligent speech for any practical, any practical sense. But the kindness of the birds, the kindness that we do know that there are such animals that do kindness. So just because that's instinct, it's not the instinct. It's not just the instinct of man, but it's even the way of man to actually act and to actually overcome and to do kindness with other people. That's what I would try to say for an answer to that question. We see that there are animals that are kind. So, in any case, the Rebbe is saying that there are two now definitions of what human being is. The difference between human being and the rest of the animals. One we said is that the animals don't have speech and humans have speech, and the second one, which is parallel and connects to the first one, is that we do kindness, we do tzedakah. And the Rebbe is saying that these two things are almost synonymous. These two things are very much connected, and this is the inyan of dibur of tzedakah, because dibur and tzedakah are connected. That they're both the definition of human being, the definition of what a man is. This is what the pasuk says when Hashem says, when He says Nase Adam Ksiv, Hashem Aisha says Asher Sisi Mahayom V'chulu, and the name of the person that I made with him today, etc. Ma Hasam Tzedakah Afkan Tzedakah. Just like there it's referring to tzedakah, also here is referring to tzedakah. Sha'idei tzedakah nikra Adam. That through tzedakah is called Adam. Now, I'm not really sure exactly how these psukim fit in, but I have here this Akdamas Azor that's being brought here is referring to Nebuchadnezzar. I have the sources here. I think it's referring to, the Zohar says it's referring to Nebuchadnezzar, and he's saying how powerful tzedakah is. That Nebuchadnezzar was supposed to be a wild animal, to lose his mind and to act like a wild animal for 7 years. And he got advice, I think it was from Daniel, that he should give tzedakah, and if he gives tzedakah, then he'll be saved from this horrible, or this type of strange gzeira, strange type of punishment, that he was supposed to be wild, like a wild animal, a beast in the fields for 7 years. And he gave tzedakah for a while, I don't know how long, and as long as he gave tzedakah, he was giving to the Jewish people, to the poor Jewish people, as long as he gave tzedakah, he didn't go crazy, he didn't lose his mind. But once he stopped, he lost his mind. So tzedakah was able to push off the upcoming animalness that was going to take over him, and was able to push it off and sustain his existence as a human being, and continue to allow him to act and to live and to be like a human being until he stopped giving tzedakah. And once he stopped giving tzedakah, so this gzeira of losing his mind and becoming like an animal took over. So here we see that tzedakah can save a person, can bring a person, and can support his existence as a human being. Meaning his definition of a human being, the reason why he's called and how he's called a human being, is specifically from tzedakah. And when a person doesn't have that, he's more susceptible to animalism or animalistic nature. Because tzedakah, which the tzedakah that speech comes from, who getter Adam, that is the definition of a person. Now, these points need, these are very deep things. I don't claim to have gotten down to the depth of them, understanding, certainly in order to explain them 100% clearly, but we have some basic understanding of what the words, certainly what the words are saying, and the basic flow of the Torah and Likutay. But the actual depth, I'm not really so sure. I understand that human beings have speech, I understand that human beings have chesed, but I don't really see, I don't know, there's some points in the connections here that I'm not exactly clear on. Okay, in any case, we understand the basic idea. And this is the bechina of Moshe Rabbeinu speaking to Hashem. This is what Moshe Rabbeinu was saying to Hashem: I am not a person of speech. Haino dibur shel tzedakah. Moshe Rabbeinu there was referring to the speech of tzedakah. Bechinas tov ish chonen u'malve yechalkel dvarav. As it says in the pasuk in Tehillim, it's good for a person to do chonen u'malve, to give kindness and to lend, yechalkel dvarav, and that will support his words. Dahainu gemilas chesed u'tzedakah. This is gemilas chesed and tzedakah, which brings to support in the words to shleimus of the dibur, perfection of speech. V'yesh dibur shel tshuva, and there's also another type of speech. That's the first type of speech, is dibur of tzedakah. The second type of speech is dibur of tshuva. B'chinas kechui machem dvarim v'shuvu el Hashem. As it says, take with you words and return to Hashem. So you see the words and return to Hashem are connected. V'zeh b'chinas gam mitmol, and this is what Moshe Rabbeinu was referring to when he said also yesterday. B'chinas dibur shel tshuva, which is referring to the dibur of tshuva, speech of tshuva. As it says, yesterday is referring to tshuva, and it says that return to Hashem, because 1,000 years in Hashem's eyes are like one day of yesterday. So yesterday is referring to tshuva, because Hashem's telling us to return to Hashem because of this, because of the shortness of time. That's probably what yesterday is referring to. It always feels like yesterday, so we better do tshuva before we end up where we may be tomorrow. V'yesh dvarim, not dafka tomorrow, which will be a long tomorrow. If yesterday is 1,000 years in Hashem's eyes, maybe tomorrow will be 1,000 years, and we'll live for a nice long time. V'yesh dibur shel ashiros, and there's also another type of speech called, the type of speech that relates to ashiros, relates to riches. Dehainu ashirim krovim l'malchus, which refers to rich people who are close to the kingship. Shehem b'chinas shloshes sarigim, which is the b'china of the three sarigim, the three rulers, the three. They were not rulers. They were. I'm not sure what this is. The baskets. They were on top of the head of the. The wine. The Sar Mashkin, the officer of wine for power. I'm not sure exactly what this is referring to. And the rabbis darshaned out that it's referring to Sholosh Sarigim, three proud officers. Dainu Hashim Krovim L'Malchus, which is referring to the rich people that are close to the kingdom. They also have there's a type of speech that relates to them. They have a b'chinas dibur, b'chinas chen sfosov re'ehu melech, charm of the lips, re'ehu melech, the close people of the king. Hainu adibur shel krovim l'malchus, that's referring to the speech of those who are close to the kingship, to the kingdom. Zeh b'chinas gam mishilshon, also from 2 days ago. B'chinas shloshes hasarigim, which is referring to the three baskets, the three nets that were on top of the head of the Sar Mashkin, which referred to the three officers, three people that are close to Hashem, close to the king. Hainu hadibur shel ashim krovim malchus. This is referring to the ashir speech of the rich people that are close to the malchus. V'yesh dibur shel malchus, and there's also dibur, speech of malchus itself. B'chinas malchus peh, speech of malchus peh, kingship of the mouth. And this is what Moshe Rabbeinu was referring to when he said, also from back then, from when I spoke to you, and this is shown in the pasuk. It says your chair is correct or is established from back then. So back then is referring to the kisei, the throne, which is referring to the kingship. So here we see the four types of speech, which is speech of tzedakah, which is the definition of man. Man is one who gives tzedakah. Speech of tshuva, and speech of those who are close to the king, the rich people who are close to the king, and speech of kingship itself. Those are the four types of speech that there are.